Hello everyone, and welcome to a very small spoof, a Harry Potter spoof. Something very small that probably will take me no time at all to read, but I thought that I would share with everyone. This was something that came out, several years ago, back in 2018 to be precise. And this was kind of back when we were just sort of playing around with things like predictive text, back before we had ChatGPT. And some parts of Harry Potter were put into this kind of beginner AI type thing. And the results were very funny. So I'm actually going to read this to you guys just because it is kind of hilarious to look back and see how primitive it was. But I do have something that I want to say about ChatGPT and AI at the end of this, so please stick around all the way to the end to hear that portion of it. But let's do the fun part first. Harry Potter and the portrait of what looked like a large pile of ash. Chapter 13. The Handsome One. The castle grounds snarled with a wave of magically magnified wind. The sky outside was a great black ceiling which was full of blood. The only sounds drifting from Hagrid's hut were the disdainful shrieks of his own furniture. Magic. It was something that Harry Potter thought was very good. Leathery sheets of rain lashed at Harry's ghost as he walked across the grounds toward the castle. Ron was standing there and doing a kind of frenzied tap dance. He saw Harry and immediately began to eat Hermione's family. Ron's shirt was just as bad as Ron himself.
"If you two can't clap happily, I'm going to get aggressive,"
confessed the reasonable Hermione.
"What about Ron magic?"
offered Ron. To Harry, Ron was a loud, slow, and soft bird. Harry did not like to think about birds.
"Death Eaters are on the top of the castle,"
Ron bleated, quivering. Ron was going to be spiders. He just was. He wasn't proud of that, but it was going to be hard to not have spiders all over his body after all is said and done.
"Look," said Hermione, "obviously there are loads of Death Eaters in the castle. Let's listen in on their meetings."
The three complete friends zapped onto the landing outside the door to the castle roof. They almost legged it, but witches are not climbing. Ron looked at the doorknob and then looked at Hermione with searing pain. "I think it's closed," he noticed.
"Locked,"
said Mr. Staircase, the shabby robed ghost. They looked at the door, screamed about how closed it was, and asking it to be replaced with a small orb. The password was "Beef Women," Hermione cried. Harry, Ron, and Hermione quietly stood behind a circle of Death Eaters who looked bad. "I think it's okay if you like me," said one Death Eater. "Oh, thank you very much," replied the other. The first Death Eater confidently leaned forward to plant a kiss on his cheek. "Oh, well done," said the second, as his friend stepped back again. All the other Death Eaters clapped politely. Then they all took a few minutes to go over to plan to get rid of Harry's magic. Harry could tell that Voldemort was standing right behind him. He felt a great overreaction. Harry tore his eyes from his head and threw them into the forest. Voldemort raised his eyebrows at Harry, who could not see anything at the moment.
Voldemort, you are a very bad and mean wizard,
Harry savagely said. Hermione nodded encouragingly. The tall Death Eater was wearing a shirt that said, "Hermione has forgotten how to dance," so Hermione dipped his face in mud. Ron threw a wand at Voldemort, and everyone applauded. Ron smiled. Ron reached for his wand slowly.
Ron's the handsome one, muttered Harry as he reluctantly reached for his.
They cast a spell or two. The jets of green light shot out of the Death Eaters' heads. Ron flinched.
Not so handsome now,
thought Harry as he dipped Hermione in hot sauce. The Death Eaters were dead now, and Harry was hungrier than he had ever been. The great hall was filled with incredible moaning chandeliers, and a large librarian who had decorated the sinks with books about masonry. Mountains of mice exploded. Several long pumpkins fell out of McGonagall. Dumbledore's hair scooted next to Hermione as Dumbledore arrived at school. The pig of Hufflepuff pulsed like a large bullfrog. Dumbledore smiled at it and placed his hand on its head.
You are Hagrid now. We're the only people who matter. He's never going to get rid of us,
Harry, Hermione, and Ron said in chorus. The floor of the castle seemed like a large pile of magic. The Dursleys had never been to the castle, and they were not about to come there in Harry Potter and the Portrait of what looked like a large pile of ash. Harry looked around and then fell down the spiral staircase for the rest of the summer.
I'm Harry Potter,
Harry began yelling.
The dark arts better be worried. Oh boy!
Thank you for joining me for that, guys. Like I said, profoundly silly, and in the very primitive times of this predictive text AI type thing. So that's the fun part. Now for the more serious part. Okay, so this is kind of a plea from me. If you are using ChatGPT or AI for any reason, please don't. Please stop. It is not good for the environment. I know that is going to sound very controversial to people who may not be aware of what is actually going on, or you just want to continue to use it because you're stubborn and you just want to, damn it. I don't know really what to say to you or how to convince you, but it takes 9 ounces of water for every question that you ask, and that is 9 ounces of fresh water, of which we only have 1% of on this planet, and that is our drinking water. That is all the drinking water that we have. Once it's gone, it's gone. There is an entire town in Georgia that has no drinking water because an AI data center was put up in their area. And they all had to move because they can't do their dishes, they can't do their laundry, they can't shower because all of the water is gone. So, if you live on this side of the coast, on the West Coast, we're paying for all of this. So, please do not use ChatGPT or AI. You have the ability to use your own brain. You are very smart. I know that you are. If you are on my channel, I know that you are a smart person. Like, I just know that. So, knowing that, please don't use it. And if you use it for anything like AI art, that is actively taking away my job as someone who does art as the second job that I have kind of given myself in this timeline. You have the ability to do art as well. All you have to do is practice. And you know what? If you can't do art, I bet you can cook. You know who can't cook? Me. I'm not good at cooking. We need everybody to be able to do different types of things that have different skill sets and levels and all of that jazz. You do not need a machine in order to speed run that process. I guarantee it. So that's all I have to say about that, guys. Please use your brain. Please use your hands. Please use the time that you were given on this earth to do something great or put something into the world that is going to last for generations to come, for the kids down the line. And I guarantee you that isn't anything to do with AI or ChatGPT. So that was all I had. Thank you very much for listening, and I will see you all in the next one. Good night.